Hello and welcome to my knife channel. Well, there's actually some knives up here for once. This is my Ganzo collection. And they're kind of ranked in order of favorites. Well, let me see. Put this like that. There we go. Favorites on down to like least favorite. And there was a reason for getting like, let's go with the least favorite. This is like a PM2 with an axis lock. And let's see what the model number is. F729. 440C. Not a bad steel. I got this one just to see if I liked the ergonomics and the feel and carry of a PM2, and basically I decided that no, so this saved me some money because I'm not a big PM2 fan. All right, this next one is pretty good. It's got a very easy opening action and everything. The problem is it's too easy, and when it closes it just falls shut. Now I have cut myself on this finger here. Not watching where I have my fingers, just checking, you're trying to position your hands on either side of the axis lock, or what they call the G lock now, or whatever, but basically an axis lock. And this thing just like falls right in. But when you're doing that, you're trying to position your hands sometimes when you're trying to close it to get on either side of that, and you can get too close. And with the weight of this blade and the way it falls down, it'll cut you, and it has. This one's a pretty good one. The only reason why it's down here on towards the end on lightness and everything is because I have a Spyderco Delica in ZDP 189 that I got before I got this one. But if I was wondering if I'd like a Delica, this would have been a good one to get, because it has a finger choil up here that you don't have on the Delica, and it's inexpensive. I think this was only like $10, so that's a pretty good knife. This one is kind of like the Benchmade 940. You can just pull the axis lock back. It has a little different blade shape on, but overall it's kind of like similar. It's alright. It's very sturdy. It's a very stout, heavy duty type of knife if you want to carry that around and everything. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you what model number this one is, or the other one. This one is the FB765. This is when they started going to Firebird instead of Ganzo. Most of these have Firebird on them. I think this is the 759M, if I'm right. Yep, F759M. I don't remember this guy's number, but I think it's like 761 or something. 7601. 760. Alright. And this last guy over here, his model number was 729. 729er. Alright, so let's keep going. Now, I didn't mention the carbon fiber on the PM2 one. This one is like looks kind of like a Protec kind of knife. The carbon fiber, although it looks nice, I mean, it gives a nice like holographic kind of effect when you move it around and everything. It's slick, very slick. It's, they've contoured it a little bit and everything. But this is a nice little knife. Nice little size. I mean, you can open it with the thumb stud, or, pull it back with the axis lock type of thing. It's not bad. It's not completely deep carry, but my thoughts on deep carry are, a knife's legal where I carry it at, so I'm not trying to conceal anything. And actually, if it's sticking up a little bit, it gives me more of a thumb purchase to grab. So I'm not super concerned about a knife being super deep carry, but that's just my personal opinion. Now this one here is like the Rat, but with an axis lock. And it's the FB727S. This is one of the more recent models that they came out. Sorry, all the blades are all gunky. I just grabbed this up, and I keep these in a box. And I just sit around there. This one's pretty nice. Got a pretty good action. You can kind of swing that, but you've got to time it just right. And it just falls shut like that. Flicks open real well. Right. You can rest your finger up here like a little ledge to give yourself like a forward choil type of thing. But it doesn't have a forward choil. So that's a nice one. Then I started getting into the Firebird series. Now, because I'm going backwards, I'll show you what my favorite Firebird of them all is, but or the FH series, but this is the FH71, and it's in D2. These other ones were in 440C. Now we're going into the D2 line and everything, and I like the blade shape. That's what got me about it. The blade shape and the ability to, you can rest your thumb back here on the jimping if you like, or you could get up here also. It's a little bit slick and everything, but it's nice and wide. Gives you, extra room to get up and do some fine detail. Almost has a Warncliffe shape, but it's like a modified Warncliffe where it goes up toward the end. It's just an all-around nice knife. These scallops on the end back here actually help with gripping it and everything, so it's not just for looks, but yeah, very nice little action on it too. So yeah, that's a good one. Then we got the little stubby rhino, little bulldog, little kind of guy. 61, I believe, is what this guy is. Yeah, FH61. The 61. It's nice. If you've got to do any scraping, like on the floor, you've got some gunk on the tile, if you're careful, put it on a bevel, basically, and it'll just take stuff right off. Now, if you start digging in, you're going to dig up tile and everything, too, so you got to watch it. But it's good for that little shape there, and it's a really stout blade. It's got a nice front finger choil there, a nice place to rest your thumb, and just a cool little knife. It's number 3 of my favorites. Now, this guy, I actually carry more than this one. This one I would really rate as my number 1 favorite, but yeah, it's a toss-up between this one and this one, but we'll get into this one right here. I love the blade shape, man. It looks almost like a Warncliffe. It's just like, and then it almost has a spear point shape to it, and oh man, it's just like a combination of like a little harpoon. It's just got a lot of stuff going for it. It's a really great knife. I dyed these scales darker. Some of these have been dyed. That's another good thing about the Ganzos. You can experiment with, practice around with dyeing your knives and everything. The lanyard loop is back here. It's not in the way. It's unobstructive and everything. My thoughts on lanyard loops are, I like lanyards on small knives. I used to have one on this one too. It just helps me when I've got them in a cargo pocket, just something to grab a hold of. Also, if you drop them, if you've got a brightly colored lanyard, unlike this one, if you got a brighter colored lanyard, it'll help you to find it. If you dropped it like out in the woods, or dropped it in your car or on the concrete or something like that, gray would just blend right in with the concrete sometimes. Anyway, this is a really cool knife. I really like the size, I like the shape. It just feels really good in the hand when you put it up there. You got a place for your thumb to rest and everything. And yeah, this is probably my favorite Ganzo of all. I think it's 51. The 51. Now, I put this one as, see how it's, I had dyed it kind of like this color, and I was saying, I wonder if you can just scrape dye off. So I just took a knife and started, yeah, it does scrape it off, but this has a little bit of texture here, with this is a little bit more smooth. So yeah, dye can be taken out. But this is the 41, and the action on this knife, it's just like fall shuts. And I mean, it's just a great knife. It feels like it should be more like $100 knife type of class. But this is a really great knife. The only reason why I don't carry it as much is I have other knives that, you know, took its place that cost more. But man, that action on this one. And I haven't oiled it in anything recently. But I mean, it's just like, think, just falls shut and just snaps right open. Just positive. Great blade shape too. So yeah, that's like a two-tone one now. Dual one. So yeah. There's my Ganzos. And there may be another one hiding around here somewhere. But that's most of them. And the FH series is pretty cool with the D2. It's a little bit tougher steel, hold the edge a little bit longer than the 440C. The 440C is more stainless though, and a good just like beater knife. I mean, you can tell, like with this guy, I used it. I didn't just like, oh yeah, it's a nice knife. No, I used the hell out of this thing, and it's a nice sturdy, sturdy, solid blade. Trying to jam two words at once. So there you go. There's some Ganzos for you. I went Ganzo over Ganzo. I haven't followed them lately. There's a few that I think that would be good to get in this FH series, like the little mini cleaver one might be all right. But they're still coming out with other ones. There's one where they had that Avante or whatever design, and I just wasn't impressed with that one. They wanted like 50 or 60 bucks for it almost, you know, and Ganzo's really competing. I mean, when they were like $25 or so, yeah, you know, they're a good value and everything, but you start just putting some special designer's name on this, you know, and start trying to charge 50 bucks for this, then it could still hold its own with the 50-buck class and everything, but you're feeling less of a value, you know. You're like, I don't know why. The action's good, and it's a great knife, but seems like they're part of the reason why, part of their appeal is the price. If they would be a lot more, you know, like if this one cost like that Delica with ZDP 189, well, it'd have to have bumped up steel, but I think the average Delica goes for around 80 bucks. Now, if they were charging 30 or 40 bucks for this one, you'd start thinking, man, I don't know, maybe, you know, you're gonna have to get better steel and stuff like that, maybe, but still. Anyway, there we go. Sorry for rambling on. Like Pete says, I've reached my limit. So, yeah, I don't collect Ganzos as much now. I wasn't really like collecting them. I was just following. I just looked at designs and went, wow, that's a good looking knife, you know. I want to try that. That's the advantage of them, is you can try something instead of, you know, spending 140 bucks for a PM2 and finding out you just don't like the size, the weight, and the ergonomics of it. I know this is not exactly like a PM2, you know, but not everybody can go to a store and handle and feel the stuff. I've got a Walmart, and there's never anybody behind the counter, and they don't usually carry things like this. So, there you go. Way beyond my limit, but anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.